Morning, everybody. We had to bail out of our last location and run from the rain, so here we are in Malibu. And this is John. Thank you for coming up from San Diego.
Thanks for having me.
John is a racing instructor by trade, and like other racing instructors I've met, he has chosen a Mazda RX8. Tell me a little bit about your car.
Sure. So the car is a combo build. I do daily drive it. Obviously, the emphasis of it is more on the autocross and track aspect of it. So as far as engine mods go, it's pretty minimal. Just obviously, Mazda does a pretty good job of making the car make as much power as it can stock.
Yeah.
So I have an HKS drop-in super hybrid filter, and then an HKS catback, an agency power lightweight crank pulley as well. And then the rest of it is suspension. So it is on Bilstein PSS 9s, which I have modified the spring rates a little bit. So it's still on a progressive rate in the rear, and then Hotchkiss adjustable front sway bar, as well as an agency power adjustable rear sway bar, and then white line bushings throughout as well.
Your car sounds like the car of a racing instructor, where they don't do too much with the engine because they run the engine really hard and they're looking for that stock reliability.
Right.
And then they do everything with the suspension and brakes. I could hear your brakes from far away. Yeah. Your brakes are intense.
Yeah, they're Hawk HP Plus, and then I have just blank rotors. That is also a multiple racing.
Is that a brand, or is that just a no-name brand rotor?
Centric Parts.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Rotary non-turbo, 8,500 RPM redline. This is not my first ever review of an RX8. I did a stock one for a written review a couple years ago, and on this very road, I almost ran out of gas because the fuel economy was so horrible, I couldn't believe it.
That is one downside of the car, absolutely. Obviously, we already made one stop at a gas station today to get over here, so.
No, so, you know, what these are about are that the free revving, you know, you want to wind it out to 8,500 and hear that sound, and also balance. The Rotary engine is a light engine. Yeah. And this is a how much does this thing weigh?
Mine's probably about 2,800.
That's light.
Yes, because it's got, so the wheels I have on it are about 7.5 pounds lighter than stock each.
Wow.
So, and then the pulley as well. So I've removed probably close to like 18 pounds rotation, or 30 pounds rotational, and then 18 pounds of rotational off the drivetrain as well too.
Yeah. Well, immediately this car, what is that in the road?
Oh, box.
It feels super light on its feet. The steering is really responsive. The brakes are really responsive. And the pedal's very tight, that brake pedal. Whoop, let's, guy on a cherry picker. It's not annoyingly loud. Bonus points.
Oh, the car? Yeah.
Bonus points for not annoyingly loud.
Yeah. It is a little louder with the windows down. I mean, this car, the exhaust is awesome, the HKS high power, just because if I'm just cruising around town, not in it, it's almost stock-ish. I mean, it's very quiet, no drone, but if you put your foot into it, it screams.
It's a nice sound, actually. It's sort of a known thing that I'm not the biggest fan of rotaries, and it's not like I don't like fight with people that are. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, this is a really fun engine to rev, and the chassis is good. And I like the clamshell doors that you can get in the back. Like, that's cool. But for the power this engine makes, the amount of fuel it drinks is so insane.
Exactly.
You know, and then you hear about the apex seals and all that. And don't you have to pull the motor to change a spark plug in this thing?
No, you can get to it through the side fender wall over there, or underneath the car. Either way. It's not too bad. Yeah, this is, not to help the reliability case at all, this is actually a new Mazda reman engine. I've only, so it's got about 5,000 miles on it. I blew up the stock one at 105,000.
105,000 miles?
Yeah.
What did it cost to replace the motor, if you don't mind?
I had a little help with that, with some warranty stuff, but I mean, if the ticket itself, because it was through Mazda and a Mazda reman, it was $7 grand.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
That's not cheap.
No.
Wait, big bump, pellet handle it. Well, I noticed that your car, you know, despite your fully aftermarket suspension, not very stiff. You've gone soft with it.
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, I've upped the spring rate from the PSS 9 kit out of the box. It is a great kit.
It's certainly not an abusive.
No, yeah.
No, it's good.
They do like to roll a little bit, And so, and then also because of a lot of the places that I go, where I autocross in San Diego is not the smoothest.
Oh, you're at Qualcomm, aren't you?
Yeah,
that place is
so
a piece of shit.
I didn't want to go overly stiff with it. Plus, even Streets of Willow and Buttonwell, they're not the smoothest tracks in the world.
Agree.
So I've had cars. My other car that I had prior to this was a '95 Honda Del Sol, and I went a little crazy with the spring rate, which was great for the track. But it would, I mean, if there was any bumps, it had a little issue putting power down and really holding it. So I decided to go with this and keep it progressive in the rear to really help with the control even under bumps and putting power down and everything.
Well, it's very forgiving. I mean, it doesn't, not that I'm going that fast, but it's very like, okay, no problem, I got this, I always thought, now tell me if I'm crazy, but when I reviewed a stock RX8, and the car, it was like the final edition or whatever, and the car was on its way out.
Okay.
And I was like, if they could keep this thing alive by ditching the Rotary and putting a turbo version of a Miata engine in it and hacking the roof off and making a 4-seat convertible Miata.
Kind of interesting.
I was like, because the UPS truck, the 4-seat convertible market is terrible. Right? There's nothing that's worth driving.
Not definitely on the economical side, yeah.
But Mazda could do it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna pause and wait for that UPS truck to clear because I certainly don't want to chase him up the road. Mm-hmm. Be right back. Did you look at other cars before you ended up with this?
I did, yeah. I mean, like I said, I came from a '95 Honda Del Sol, and so I was a really big Honda fan. I've always been a Rotary fan as well, too. So, of course, naturally, I was looking at an S2000. But I wanted something a little bit bigger and having a rear seat since I had the Del Sol for so long with only 2 seats and everything. Yeah. So, and I've, like I said, always wanted a Rotary, so I had to try one of these out. So as soon as I test drove one, I absolutely loved it. And then, it's always interesting to me that they do compare it to the S2000 and 350Z, just because this car does have a rear seat. The other two do not. I mean, it's understandable, price range,
Japanese sports car rear wheel. It's such a small, the Japanese rear wheel drive sports car market is quite small, and so you kind of have to just include all of them.
Right.
Even if fundamentally they're very different cars.
Exactly.
But here's my problem now with the RX8, which is that we are going uphill and this is full throttle. So is it slow? No, it's not slow. But is it fast?
No.
No, it's not fast.
Yeah, it's a big difference too. I mean, if I'm in here alone versus if I have a passenger, it's a huge difference. I mean, you turn the AC on, it's a noticeable difference.
And, well, let's see if UPS guy will pull out of my way. But before we do, so you work as an instructor at Extreme Experience, is that what it's called?
Extreme Adventures.
Extreme Adventures, which is a supercar driving experience,
correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like me in that you get spoiled with the $200,000 supercars. So you're at work all day, you got morons trying to kill you in these cars.
Yeah, it's an interesting job.
You get a few runs in them yourself. Time to go home, you jump back in the RX8. How does it make you feel then?
I honestly still love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The handling and everything, I'll take this out on course sometimes after I've driven some of the other cars, like Gallardo, and we have a 430, 360 Modena, and even though it doesn't have that, seat of the pants, throw you in the back of the seat, the handling on, at least on mine anyways, I don't know about a stock one, but I do love driving this around our track. Yeah,
I can't sit behind this guy anymore, so we're gonna wait. But keep telling me.
Yeah, so we do have the new GT3, which
they're the best, aren't they?
Amazing.
They're the best.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to beat that, obviously. But handling wise, it's pretty. I mean, on par roughly.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like driving this car a lot.
Well, it does. Oh, there's a car coming. I'm gonna go. Hopefully that UPS truck won't be going where we're going. DHL though, in the transit, getting at it. DHL has the fastest delivery drivers, if you believe their commercials. These gears, what did I just? Second gear goes to 62 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. So for like autocross, it's pretty. I mean, as far as time shifting and everything like that, it's usually I just stay in second gear.
When you're doing autocross, do you go into first a lot?
Not usually, no. It's pretty rare. I mean, I've done it before, but a course like that is pretty rare, especially down in San Diego with a big of a lot as we have.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice.
I like this car. Like I can appreciate it for what it is. You know, oh, there's clearance. Yes, okay. I can appreciate it for what it is. It doesn't need to be fast. Like, I don't want one. Did you fill up at that gas station when we stopped before?
Yeah.
You filled up and we burned through a quarter of a tank already.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is what's really crazy. I'm gonna flip around here. But like,
it gets, I mean, on the freeway in 6, I get about, if I'm not on it, I mean, about 22, 24. Daily around city, it's about 14. And if I go to, you know, a track day, streets of Willis, something like that, it's about 6 miles per gallon.
See,
so.
that's where they lose me, because look, I don't care about fuel economy.
I don't either.
I don't really. But if it's gonna be that terrible, I want 500 horsepower.
Right.
Wait, there's a rock here. You know what I mean? Like, it bothers me because there is a chance, and you know, some of the places we drive are in the middle of nowhere. The odds of running out of fuel are a lot higher.
Oh yeah.
If you don't pay attention, you could find yourself. It's like an E85 car.
Oh yeah.
You could find yourself. Oh my God! Imagine putting E85 on one of these.
Oh God.
You'd be getting. You'd burn through a tank in like a quarter mile.
Oh yeah.
It'd be
insane.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys that own these, I mean, they are enthusiasts. We're, you know, love Rotary. I'm addicted to the sound. I can't keep my foot out of this thing, which is probably part of the problem. The fuel economy I have. But the other thing is, I mean, I did a lot of research before buying this. Because you hear horror stories of oil consumption, which, I mean, they are like a 2-stroke. They have a jet in the inside of the engine that sprays oil in there. So it's not burning it. It is using it.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people were saying, oh, every other time you go get gas, you got to put oil in it. Mine's not that bad. I haven't had an experience like that. It's about every 1,000 miles. It needs a quart.
It needs a quart?
Yeah. So I was prepared.
It's about the same as a BMW V10 in the oil consumption department.
Exactly.
Oh, my foot slipped off the brake there. Sorry about that.
No worries. I've seen worse.
Yeah, I'm sure, right? It's hard. You know, you jump in 5-6 different cars a day. You can't, unless you're, I don't know how Randy Popes does it. If you're Randy Popes, you can be immediately fast in anything.
Right.
The rest of us take a little bit of warm up. Maybe you don't, but I certainly do.
I mean, there's things I do to learn a car pretty quickly, but yeah, I mean, of course, give me a lap or two and something. Usually I'll have it figured out, but.
And this has Hankook RS3s on it, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's on 245 front and rear Hankook RS3s.
The tires feel good. Good ride quality.
I'm glad. I was a little worried because they have a full season of autocross on them, so they are fairly heat cycled out. So considering that, I mean, you can see the grip level is pretty high.
Well, if we were in the wet like this morning, I'd be worried. But up here where it's dry, they feel nice.
Thanks.
This thing is so, like, it's such a good chassis, and like the seats are comfortable and the inputs are good and it's practical, and you know, it's fundamentally a good car. Right. But God, they're just yeah, they're selling this car is only for somebody who loves the rotary engine. Yeah. You gotta love the rotary engine. And that's pretty much all RX-7s. Oh yeah. Because you could find an equivalent sports car almost anywhere that has a more efficient engine design. And even you know, I did a pair of FD RX-7s, and one had like a big turbo rotary, and the other one had an LS motor. And yeah, the LS motor made it a bit Corvette-y, but the rotary went through 3 times as much fuel in the exact same chute as a 6-liter V8. Right. And so I was just like, I can't get behind this thing. But I'm glad you brought it out. Thank you for spending all that money on fuel. Thanks for having me. Yeah, Extreme Adventures? ExtremeAdventures.net. ExtremeAdventures.net, and you're down in San Diego. You want to drive a supercar down in San Diego, hit John up. And thanks for coming out, and thank you for watching. I love the variety we get here. Thanks. See ya.